Good evening, every pony. My name is EmeraldComet, and I'm going to share with you a bit of trivia about myself. I'm a sucker for a good tragedy, partly because I'm a sadistic bastard who relishes in other people's misery, but also because I like seeing a character's journey through a tragedy. What they go through, how they deal with what they're handed, the progression of their character as the story moves on. They just really interest me. Faster by Einhander, I think I'm saying that right, on the surface is not labeled as a tragedy, but more of a sad or dark story. But from reading it, I think it actually makes a better tragedy story than a dark one. Not to say the elements that are in it aren't dark, but this is just the impression I got from my experience with it. The story of Faster focuses on Rainbow Dash, who has grown older and lost her speed. This is especially bad for her as she has an up-and-coming trial to get into the Wonderbolts, which will be her last chance to join them. While attempting to perform a sonic rain boom, she blacks out and arrives in a mysterious world. Here, she comes across a being named Proteus, who informs her that he can give her one wish. And wouldn't you know it, Rainbow wishes to be faster. However, she soon realizes that the faster part of her deal applies to a lot more than just her speed. The main point I want to bring up as to why I think Faster works as a better tragedy comes back to a thought I had once I started reading it. The whole time, I kept thinking of the game Shadow of the Colossus. Once Rainbow enters this strange world, she assumes the role of the game's main character, Wander, and Proteus assumes the role of Wander's guiding voice in the world, Dorman. Now, that doesn't mean that the latter are exactly alike. Dorman had malicious intent behind getting Wander to kill the 16 Colossi, whereas Proteus is more of a being who grants wishes for those who desperately want something. And before anyone says anything, yes, I'm aware that there is a sequel to Faster. And no, I haven't read it. So if his actions do turn out to be malicious, I didn't know about them. From what I gathered, he doesn't seem evil. Celestia herself talks about Proteus, and she doesn't call him out on being evil either. She says he omits things, but she also acknowledges that she chose to make her own wish and doesn't blame anything on him. Sorry for going off on that tangent. Getting back on topic. Proteus reminded me a lot of Dorman mostly because of his lines, like warning Rainbow of a heavy price that she'll pay if she carries through with the wish. Also like Dorman, his mysterious presence makes him quite interesting. You really want to read on to discover more about this guy and learn what his story is. I'm really hoping he's expanded more upon in the sequel. Rainbow, similarly to Wander, is willing to take whatever risks are involved to get what she wants. The wish is granted and Rainbow becomes faster. However, it quickly becomes apparent that everything has become faster for her. Days go by quicker, she has to get everything done fast, and waiting 5 minutes for her feels like hours. Like Wander, Rainbow ends up paying dearly for what she wanted, and though the last time we see her isn't really a sad moment, it still leaves you feeling really bad for her. Both characters suffer greatly because of their unwillingness to accept what life has given them. Josh Scorcher brought this up in his top 10 video game endings where he talked about Shadow's ending. Part of living your life means that you need to accept things that are beyond your control, like the fact that we all age. Rainbow wasn't willing to accept this and paid a heavy price for it. In the end, it was her own drive and her own ambition that ended her. And to have the one thing that she based her whole life around be what finishes her off is a really crushing thought. Now, this is not to say that what happens to Rainbow isn't dark, because it is. It's a terrifying concept for someone's life to be stuck in constant fast motion, that if a person waits a few minutes they could go insane because to them it feels like hours. And even the after effects of the wish we see are pretty scary things for someone to deal with. Just from what I got out of it, I see it more as a clever tragedy, but it definitely holds up as a sad or dark fic as well. But, in addition to having a really interesting main storyline, it also has a very strong romance between Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy. Now, I'm not a hardcore shipper, but I actually really do like their romance here. They have understandable motivation for their relationship because of how long they've known each other in the continuity of the story. They show legitimate loving care for one another, and in the end, after we witness Rainbow's ultimate fate, you really do feel bad for Fluttershy and sympathize with her when she breaks down. And since the story makes you care about these two, the emotions hit you all the more harder. The romance works really well to break up all the heavy and dramatic moments, and I really enjoyed it. The pacing at points also matches the story's theme of speed very well. At points, it's very fast-paced and moves between locations quickly, much like how Rainbow does. It might throw a few people off because of its speed, but it really didn't hinder the story that much for me. And it calms down quite a lot after Chapter 2, so it's not a major glaring problem with the story. When the pacing isn't fast, it's subdued. It knows when to let a dramatic moment be a dramatic moment, or to give a character breathing space, and all of it is executed very well. So, all things considered, I really loved this story. The characters are written well, the romance is genuine, cute, and helps give the story a much needed lighter side, and the pacing does a great job in keeping with the theme of the story. It's quite short, only being 3 chapters long, and it will only take you about an hour or so to read. But it's an hour I would highly recommend putting in, since Faster is definitely a great fanfic. And evidently, people agree with me, because it currently has a sequel in the works called Stronger, as well as its 2 soon-to-be sequels, Harder and Better. And with my lame attempt at a joke out of the way, I'll leave you all to go and read. Before I head off, a quick thank you to Obib Scribbler, who submitted my last review to Equestria Daily, and with that said, I'm EmeraldComet, and I'll see you all next time. Little ending note here, I should mention that this isn't actually what Proteus looks like. He's more of a ghostly voice that just talks to Rainbow. He's not actually an alicorn. I just googled ghostly Pegasus, and this is about the best that I could get. So, yeah. Not an alicorn, just wanted to make that clear. Okay, I'm going now, so I'll see y'all next time.